2.5 inches long by about 3/4 of an inch in diameter. So if I make everything 1 inch in diameter, it'll be okay. I don't know what size threads those are. We'll have to figure it out. Okay, folks, welcome back to College Hill Farm. Right here, this is the handle that raises and lowers the bucket on my tractor. And this has broke off. Oh, let's see if I can get this to screw out of there. Oh. Maybe I can come up with something. Melting a blue barrel. But what's happening is that I'll be sitting in the bucket and I'll go to move my hand across this, and I'll catch it and rip places out of my hands on this thing. So I have got to make this disappear to where it's going to stop doing that. Now, I could probably just screw that out like that, but that's just going to be in the way, and I want to make something that's going to be there for a while. See, this is just all breaking apart. If I get this screwed off, then that'll give me something to measure the threads inside the shop. Okay, I want to make something. This has got to come off too, but I'll probably have to bust that off, which that's fine too. But I need to make something that'll be a handle. So let's go in the shop, get out a blue barrel, and see what we can come up with. This is going to be a good project for my blue barrels. And why are blue barrels so good? Because they're solar resistant. They ought to make a good piece of plastic for this. This would be the perfect thing for them. Well, hi, Muffin. Say hello. Yeah, you're a dirty boy. You're always dirty. I don't know why this cat stays so dirty, but he does. He just the way he is. He's a dirty boy. Okay, one of the first things we have to do is melt our plastic. Well, I use blue barrels. You can go back. I showed you a video. I've actually done 2 other videos about melting blue barrels. What I've got here, I've just got a little toaster oven. Goes up to 300 degrees. It's all you got to have. And before I have melted them in this. Okay, it's just a metal loaf pan. But what I'm afraid of, if I cut these, I've come to the conclusion that the best thing I could do is to cut my blocks of plastic that lay down in here the size of this, and then mash it down in here to make it flat without taking it out of this pan, and then allow the whole thing to cool. Well, what I'm concerned with is it will get stuck in the pan and I can't get it out. Okay? And then I'll wind up having to break this pan, bust it up to get the plastic out of it. Well, I found this at a store. This was $1. It was $1 for this little loaf pan, and it does 4 loaves. Well, my problem is it won't fit in my little oven. It won't fit this way, and if I put it that way, it sticks out the end. So in order to make this work, I'll have to cut it apart, cut it in 2 right there. Well, I don't feel like doing that today. So this is my alternative. Went over to the dollar store. Okay, went over to just the Dollar General. We got a little Dollar General here in Paint Lick. And I bought a bunch of these tins. I think what I can do is I can take this, cut me a piece of wood the size of the tin here, cut my plastic lay the plastic in there, heat the whole thing with the plastic laying just like it's going to do. Because if I don't, what happens is my plastic curls up like that. Okay, if I just set the plastic in there, it curls up like that, and then while it's hot, you got to straighten it out. Well, that's a pain in the fingers. Okay, I had a friend of mine, he said, next time I do one of these videos, he's going to have a drinking game. Every time I burn my fingers, he takes a drink. Well, he swore he'd be drunk before half the video was done, and I'm sure he was exactly right. So, he said he was too old, he couldn't drink like that. Anyway, so I've got to make this part, needs to be 2.5 inches long. It's got to be the same hole in the center, but I don't need the hole. I think I can machine the hole and then tap it with a tap and die. I've got taps and dies, and I can tap it, and then it will fit right on my tractor. And now I've got something I can go over here and figure out what size bolt it needs to be tapped to. I don't know if this is metric or if it's standard. I'm about betting it's metric, but I don't know. So I'll have to find that out in a little bit. I won't worry about showing you. I'll just take a bolt and put different size bolts in here till I find the one that fits, that screws in. Now, so now I've got to go cut the plastic. You've seen me cut plastic before. I'm just going to go ahead and go cut the plastic. I'm not going to worry about videoing it. I'm just going to use a jigsaw and cut plastic strips about as wide as the bottom of this. Or in other words, see how wide is the bottom of this thing? It is right at 3 inches wide. So I'll cut 3-inch wide strips. And how long do they need to be? Looks like they're 7 inches long. Okay, I'll cut 3 by 7 inch strips that I can lay in here until they're 1 inch thick. Okay, I'll go ahead and go do that. Okay, I've cut 7 pieces of barrel. Okay, approximately 3 by 7. They're a little bit too long, but let me show you what I'm talking about. I put them in here, and they kind of bust out the corners, but that's okay. Okay, now I need to take my little oven and set it. So let's get the oven ready. We get it plugged in down here. There we go. We are plugged in. Now, I'm going to set this on 300 degrees. Alright. Now I'm going to turn it on. Now I'll let that come up to temperature. And when it comes up to temperature, I'll put this in there. But what I need to do, I need to cut a piece of wood that'll sit on top of this. So I'm going to do that right now, and then I'll come back to you. Okay, the oven's up to temperature. But what I did was, I cut 2 boards. This is, I had a piece of finished grade plywood. I cut one for the bottom that'll go right here when I clamp this up, and one for the top that'll sit right in here to clamp down with. And that will get the 2 pieces stuck together. But now, this is a lot thicker. This is a lot thicker. This is a full 1 inch thick. And let me show you how many pieces it took. It took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pieces of blue barrel. Okay? 6 pieces made a full 1 inch thick piece. So now I'm going to take these, put them in here where they can lay flat, because that was a lot of my problem before. They couldn't lay flat and they curled up. So now I'm going to put these in the oven. How long will they have to stay? I don't know. I'm going to start off with an hour, and then we'll go from there. Okay, I'll see you in about an hour. Okay, this has been in for an hour. It looks like the plastic is on top at least is good and melted. So let's pull this out. Try not to burn myself. If anybody's doing a drinking game, it's time to start. Just saying. I'll try not to burn myself this time. Now if you see how this is curling up? That's what it did before. So by having it laying down, I've got it exactly the way it needs to be. Ow. Yep, first one. Alright, now put that under. Come here, don't you run away. I want this scooted over. There. Got that one started. This one started. Now, move this one just a little bit. Go. Oven off. Grunting helps it. Okay. Now, let this sit and cool. Now, it would cool quicker if I took it outside because it's 22 degrees out there or something. But what I'm afraid, if I take it outside and cool it that way, I'm afraid it will crack. Okay? I don't want it to crack. I want it to cool slow. So I'm going to leave it right like this. Probably go have a little dinner. And then come back and see if we've got a piece of thick plastic. Okay, it's been an hour. I can touch it on the sides. So let's give it a shot. Take this apart. It doesn't seem like it was as tight as it was. Okay. Yep. Got that out. Okay. Let's see what we got. Well, it didn't all. Well, apparently I didn't let it get hot enough. These top three are fused. The bottom two are fused. But I didn't leave it in the heat long enough. So I'm going to have to heat it longer. So it's past 5 o'clock, so I'm going to stop this right here, and then tomorrow or the next day we will heat these for a couple of hours, maybe 3, and give it another shot. Okay, it's been 2 days, and this morning I came out early and put, that's still a little warm, I came out early and put this back in the oven for 2 hours, and I let it bake for 2 solid hours. Now I took it out and clamped it just like before. Let's get these clamps off and see if we're solid. Okay. Top off. Again, it's like I was afraid it would do. I was afraid that I would have a hard time getting the metal off. See, having to fold it. Okay, that's not too hot to handle. Looks like the top part got a little toasty, but if I look at that, it looks like it's all stuck down. Let's get it cut in half. I'll just put it over here on the saw and cut off a slab about right here, and we'll decide how it's done. Okay, here we are. I sawed it into 2 pieces. And if you have a look there, that there are no voids or anything in that one. No voids or anything in this one. I got a little void right here on the edge, right over here. But there's no voids. So how thick did that wind up being after I melted it and pressed it together? Okay, it's a little better than 3/4 of an inch thick. Okay, a little better than 3/4 of an inch thick. It was a full 1 inch before I melted it, but after it melted and compressed it, it compressed about 1/4 of an inch, which that's okay with me. I don't have a problem with that. Now I'm going to cut this and try and get me a nice squared up looking block. So I'm going to go over here and cut it. I'm just using the radial arm saw. It cuts really good with a saw, either radial arm or even a jigsaw. Cuts it like nobody's business. So I'm going to cut this and try and get me a nice square's worth. Okay, I've cut it into a nice rectangle, nice cube. It's 2 3/4 inches long, 3/4 inches thick, and about 1.5 inches wide. So I've cut this into something that I think I can machine down into that handle. So first off, before I do anything, I want to know if I can drill this. Okay? I want to know if I can drill it. So I'm going to try and drill a hole right in the center. Now that, when I tested that piece of plastic, well, I don't know what I did with it. When I tested that piece of plastic that I took off of the tractor, it looked like that was a 3/8/16 hole, 3/8/16 thread on that. So it may have been a 10 millimeter, or I don't think it was a 9 millimeter, but I think it could have been a 10 millimeter thread. But I think 3/8/16 will get us close enough to where we can do that. Now, 3/8/16, when I look it up on the tap table, it says I need a .3125 drill bit. Well, my drill bits aren't fancy. They're all in inch measurements. So if I do .3125, 5 divided by 16, 5 divided by 16 is .3125. So I need a 5/16 drill bit. And I'm not going to put this on a drill press and drill it. I'm just going to drill it with a hand drill and try and set it to the depth I want it to go, okay? Okay. 2.5 inches is about to here, okay? So I'm going to put a mark on there with a magic marker. 2.5 inches is about to here. When I spin that, see the mark shows. See that? So I can drill that down to about that level. And it's not rocket science. I'm not trying to be perfect. Okay? Okay, that's that. Boy, it drilled good and didn't offer to delaminate. I was worried that it might try and delaminate. Now, I have never tried to tap plastic. Okay? I've tapped steel, I've tapped aluminum, I've tapped brass, but I have never tried to tap plastic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and tap this plastic, and we'll see what happens. I've got a 3/8/16 tap. And I know I should probably be doing something, have it in a vise, and I know. But it's plastic, not steel. Try and get it started straight. It would be nice. One thing about that plastic, it slides smooth on this metal tabletop. Okay, back it out. I don't know how much that's gonna dirty up as it goes, but we're just gonna see. I may need to put it in the drill press where I can put pressure on it. I don't know. Out and let it clear. Appears to be tapping pretty good. Not in very far yet, where it will on its own draw. Normally, you'd put this in a vise in the drill press, and you'd push the head of the drill press down on this as you turned. But I don't feel like doing that. I've tapped plenty of holes without doing that. But now you only go so far, and then you back it out. That lets the chips clear. Okay, I won't do the whole thing, but you see the idea. I've got it in there about 1/2 inch. Come on. Okay, I'm down to doing again. So I'm going to bottom this tap out, and then we'll go out there on the tractor and see if this will screw on. Here's a 3/8 16 bolt. And it screws right in and holds tight. So now, I don't really have to have this rounded, okay? It doesn't have to be round to go on the tractor. But I would like to have it be comfortable. That's not comfortable. So, yeah. How hard is this going to be to machine? Well, I don't think it'll be hard at all to machine. But what about if I use just a pocket knife on it? Okay? This is just a utility knife, pocket knife. Can I shave with it? Can I shave it easy? Look at there. That cuts like butter. I'll be able to whittle this baby down in no time. So I'm going to get the whittle in here and cutting this a little bit so it'll be a little more comfortable in my hand, and then we'll go out and see if it'll fit on the tractor. Okay, that's all I'm going to worry about. There's no place here to catch my hand. If I do that, it don't hurt. You know, I don't want to be jobbing my hands. If it gets to where it does do that, I'll come back and smooth some of this off some more. But right now it's all pretty smooth. It carves easy like soap carving, and it sandpapers tough. It doesn't sandpaper very well because it wants to clog the sandpaper up. But other than that, I'm going to knock off a couple little things I still see with my pocket knife, and then we'll go out and see if this works on the tractor. Okay, now it's time for the jack acid test. Let's see if it'll screw on there. Oh, nope. My hole that is a metric thread, and I don't know if I have a metric tap or not. So I'll go back in and see if I can't find me a metric tap. That's a 10 millimeter, sure as I'm sitting here. I should have tried it with a 10 millimeter, but that's what it is. It'll start. Well, wait a minute. Let me set you down here. Nope, it's totally metric. So I'll have to get me a metric bolt and see what that is and retap it. Okay, I don't have a metric tap. This is 10 millimeters, so I drilled this at 9.9 millimeters. Okay, so maybe I can talk it into screwing up on there. There we go, new handle. It is trying to delaminate though, so you'd really want to do this and use the correct tap and die. I'm going to leave it like that. Let's see how long it lasts. But right there, new handle for my tractor. We'll leave it on there. See how it lasts. Might last a long time, might last none, but we're going to find out. Okay, so that worked. I just drilled it with a 25/64 drill bit, which is 9.9 millimeters. It did want to pull the laminates apart some, so where they were laminated together. So I'm going to try and see. Being old like me, all I've got is SAE taps and dies. I don't have a set of metric tap and dies, which I guess it's time to do that because I've got a metric everything. My car, my tractor, everything anymore is becoming metric, so I guess I need to get a set of metric tap and dies. But we'll see how long that lasts. It might last a long time. It might not last too long at all. It might totally delaminate out here in the cold, getting hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. If I had drilled the hole and I'll get it out here. If I had drilled the hole and then tapped it to the correct size, it probably wouldn't delaminate like that. I'm making it press in there by doing it, by making it a millimeter shy of the hole diameter. Okay, I'm making it press in a full millimeter, which is about the length of the inside of the threads. So yeah, that's it took 2 hours of melting. I had to leave this in the oven for 2 hours. So okay, if you like this stuff, this homesteading, do-it-yourself kind of thing, be certain to come on out to the channel and subscribe. We do this homestead stuff every week, sometimes 1, sometimes 5 videos. Just depends on what's going on in the homestead that week. Now, if you hit the little bell, it'll be right up here when you come to the channel. It'll notify you when we upload a video. We upload every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Now, time for me to get on to the next thing.